Good morning, Year 5. I hope you're all well today. If you'd like to pause the video before we continue, you'll find here the answers for yesterday's worksheet, worksheet 6 on comparing decimals. Just pause the video now, and then we'll continue with our lesson. Okay, so let's get started. Okay. Recently we've been looking at comparing decimals. Today we're changing it a bit. We're going to be writing fractions as decimals. So that's our objective today, to be writing fractions as decimals. What are our non-negotiables? Pupils can convert fractions with denominators of 10 and 100 into decimals. Pupils can convert fractions with denominators, which are factors of 10 or 100, into fractions with denominators of 10 or 100. So there's going to be some conversion today. We're going to be looking at different fractions. We're going to convert them into fractions with denominators of 10 or 100, and then that will really help us find our decimals. Okay, so go back into your memories, get all that knowledge of conversions back. Some of you should be doing this at school as well, so you should be really fresh on this. That's what we're going to be looking at today. Okay, so let's fire away. Our in focus task today. We've got our bags again. This time we've got a few more. I think we had 3 yesterday. Today we've got 5. We've got this pink one, and the pink one holds 3/5 of a kilogram. We've got this orange one. This orange one holds 7/10 of a kilogram. We've got the blue one, and the blue one holds 13/20 of a kilogram. We've got the purple one, and the purple one holds 17/25 of a kilogram. And we've got this green one, which holds 31/50 of a kilogram. And old green top over here, she's saying, arrange the bags from the lightest to the heaviest. So that's our task. That's what we've got to do. First of all, before we do that, I've got 2 questions that I need your help with. What do you notice about these fractions? And if you've noticed that, why is this useful? Pause the video and think about that for a moment. Okay, so what do you notice? Well, what I notice is that all of these bags and the fractions within them, all the bags have denominators that are 10 or factors of 10 wait 1 second, there we go, of 10 or 100. All these bags have denominators that are 10 or factors of 10 or 100. That's what I've noticed. Now, why is this useful? Well, if our denominator is 10 or a factor of 10 or 100, it makes it easy for us to convert these fractions into decimals. Okay, so all our bags have denominators that are 10. I can see that this one has a denominator of 10, or are factors of 10 or 100, and this makes it easy not for us to it makes it easy for us to convert with a T these fractions into decimals. Okay, so now we know that our task is to arrange the bags from the lightest to the heaviest. So again, we're going to be in ascending order from the lightest, the smallest fraction, and the smallest decimal, to the largest fraction and the largest decimal. That is our task. So let's get this underway. Okay, we're going to look at one of the fractions initially. This one is 31/50ths of a kilogram. We need to find out what 31/50ths of a kilogram is as a decimal. So, how are we going to do that? Well, we've got a bar chart here to help us, not a bar chart, sorry. We're going to use the bar method even to help us do this. So these bars here represent 50, and they go up in increments of 5 with the red lines, and the blue lines represent 1/50th. So every time we see a red line, that's 5/50ths. Every blue line is 1/50th. Okay? So we've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. That's our 50. And I can see that what we have shaded in is 31. So we've got 31/50ths. Okay? Now we know that 50 is half of 100. So actually this is going to be really, really simple to convert to a hundredth. The bar model shows us that if we put another line in between the blue ones that are already there, we can convert this into a model that shows 100. So all these blue lines in this bar model represent 1, and the whole thing represents 100, and it goes up in tens with the red lines. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And the blue lines represent 1, and that goes up to 2 past 60. So I know that this is showing 62 100ths. Okay? And here, we're going to write that as a decimal. So I can show 62, sorry, I'm going to write first of all, I'm going to write 31/50ths. 31/50ths equals 62 100ths. And as a decimal, we can write that as 0.62. So if we have a fraction that is a 50th, it's really, really, really easy for us to convert it to a decimal. Let me do that. It's really easy for us to convert it to a decimal because we know that it's half of 100. 50 is a factor of 100, so we can just convert it into part of 100, and that part will be our decimal, okay? We could also here have multiplied this by 2. We could have multiplied 50 by 2 to make 100, and then multiplied 31 by 2 to get 62. Okay? And we've got ochre, maybe that color is ochre or yellow. She is saying when 50 parts, here we've got our 50 parts, become 100 smaller parts, each part becomes 2 smaller parts. So 31 parts become 62 smaller parts. Okay, so that's what we're showing here. So 31/50ths is the same as 62 hundredths. As a decimal, we can write that as 0.62. Sorry, 0.62. Make a note of that, because that's going to be important for when we're putting our bags into order. Okay. So we're going to continue with this, writing fractions as decimals. We've got a few more of the weights of the bags. The first one we've got is 7/10ths. So I can see here, I don't even really need to convert this one to a hundredth because I know it's already in tenths. I know that 7/10ths equals 0.7 as a decimal. Here, the next one, we've got 3/5. Well, again, all I have to do here is multiply 5 by 2 to get 10. and multiply 3 by 2 to get 6. And we've got 6/10, and that equals 0.6. Okay, so we found a few more of our weights there. I want to look at these ones with you. We're going to do these ones together. So we've got 17/25ths. 17/25ths. I've got my arrow up here. I can see here that in the pink shading here, I've got also 17/25ths. Here is 25. The blue lines represent 1, and there are 17 of them shaded in. So that's our 17/25ths. What have they done? Well, they've made those 2 times smaller. And that's doubled the amount of lines we have to make it 34/50ths. So we've gone from 17/25ths to 34/50ths. Well, we already know that if we've got a 50th, it's really easy for us to reach a 100th, because all we have to do is multiply that by 2. So 34/50ths, that will change to 68/100ths, and that's what's represented here. 68/100ths equals 0.68. Okay, so that's that one done for you. I would like you now to have a go at this one. Okay, so we've gone through this one where we've converted 17/25ths to 68/100ths. Now I would like you to have a go at converting 13/20ths to hundredths. Okay, so let's have a look at how we do that. Well, here I'm going to write my fraction that I know that I'm working with. My fraction is 13/20ths. I know that 20 is a factor of 100. I also know how many times I have to multiply 20 by it to get 100. I have to multiply 20 5 times to get 100. And we know that if we're converting our fractions, what we do to the bottom, to the denominator, we have to do to the top, to the numerator. So I can do 13, sorry, I can do 20 times 5, and that equals 100. I can also do 13 times 5. Okay, so 13 times 5, well, I know that 13 times 5 is 65. Maybe you worked that one out on your paper. However you did it is excellent. Okay, so 65/100ths, that equals, as a decimal, well, it's 65 parts of 100, so 0.65. They've represented it here on the bar model. They had parts of 20, 13 parts of 20 shaded in. They've broken that down 5 times into parts of 100, and that's shaded in as 65/100ths. Here with 17/25ths, just going back a bit, we could have multiplied 25 by 4 to get 100, multiplied 17 by 4 to get 68. Okay. It was a bit easier though if we went to 34. 70, doubling 17 is a bit easier, and then doubling from 50 is easy as well. Okay, so now we've got all our different amounts. We've got all our different weights, our values, but we still haven't put those into order. We still need to do that. I have got my bags here, and I've lost all that information that I had. Okay, so your job now is to draw this line at the bottom with lightest to heaviest, and you're going to use the information that we've written down today to arrange the bags from the lightest to the heaviest. if you would like to pause the video and do that, that would be fantastic. Okay, so let's look at this year 5. Let's arrange our bags from the lightest to the heaviest. But first of all, I'm just going to look again at finding my converted fractions. So I'm going to make this a bit small so it fits well. 3.5, sorry, 3/5 equals 6/10. That's an easy conversion. I've doubled 5 and I've doubled 3, 6/10. Okay, and 6/10, we can also write that as 0.6. Okay, let's go to our next one. Well, 7/10, we can convert that very easily. 7/10 equals 0.7. Okay, our next one, this is one we looked at on the previous page. So, where am I? 18, there we go. 13/20ths equals 65 hundredths. What's that as a decimal? 0.65. Then we've got this one, 17/25ths. Equals, well, first of all, I'm going to change it. I'm going to convert it even to parts of 50. So I know that that is 34/50ths. Okay, so this is now easier to double to part of 100. I can do 34 times 2, and I know that that is 68 hundredths. How do we write that as a decimal? 0.68. And our last one, 31/50ths. Well, here we can just do 31/50ths equals 62. Very big. Let's just change that. 62 hundredths. Because we've converted it. And I know that 62 hundredths is the same as 0.62. Sorry, 0.62. Okay, so now I've got my fractions that have been converted to decimals. I can start putting these into order using my knowledge of how to compare decimals. Well, here I can see 0.6. I know 0.6 is smaller than 0.7. I know it's smaller than 0.65, 0.68, and 0.62. Okay, so I can put that as my lightest bag of sweets, let's say. What's my next one? Here I can see I've got 0.62. That's lighter than 0.65. I'm going to put this one here. What's my next one? Well, here I've got 0.65. I know that's lighter than 0.68. There we go. I've got 2 left. 0.68. Well, I know that is lighter than 0.7 because there's 6/10 here and there are 7/10 here. So I put this bag here, and then my heaviest bag is the orange one with 7/10 of a kilogram, which is 0.7 kilograms. So here I've arranged them into order. I've converted my fractions by changing them to tenths or 1/100ths, and I've used that to find the decimal. Okay. We're going to go through some guided practice now. The first one I'm going to go through with you, and then the second one I'm going to let you have a go yourselves. Okay? So the first one, guided practice. Number 1, write each number on this number line as a decimal. So we can see that we're going from 0, we're increasing in fifths. If I want to convert a fifth to a tenth, what do I have to do? How do I convert 1/5 to a tenth? Remembering that what I do to the numerator, what I do to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator, and vice versa. Well, I can if I times the denominator by 2, I get 10. If I times the numerator by 2, I get 2. So 1/5 equals 2/10. So already I know that my first fraction is going to be 2/10, which is the same as 0.2. So in my box here, I can put 0.2. I'm just going to make this smaller. Okay, so I can put 0.2 there. What about the next one? Well, it's going to be the same story. I'm going to do the same thing. Again, 2/5. I'm going to convert it to tenths. I'm going to do 2 times 2 is 4. 5 times 2 is 10. I know that that equals 0.4. Put 0.4 in my box. I'm going to leave you to do the other ones here. I just want to look at this one here, 1 and 1/5. We're going to convert that to a decimal. Well, I know that I've passed from the zeros, where I don't have a hole, to 1, so I do have 1 hole. So I know that my number is 1 and it has another part to it. So again, I'm going to write my fraction, but this time I'm going to have to include my 1. I know that I have a hole there already. I'm just going to do the same thing now, and I'm going to convert the 1/5 to tenths, which would be 2 tenths. Because again, I've multiplied my denominator by 2 to get 10, and I've multiplied my numerator by 2 to get 2. The decimal, I can write that as 1.2. So I can then take I can then take my decimal there, 1.2, my 1 whole and 2/10, and I can put it in here. Again, if I'm doing 1 and 2/5, 1 and 2/5, well, here I can just convert this to 1 and 4/10. Again, by timesing the denominator and the numerator by the same number, both by 2. That makes 1.4. I can take that and I can put it in my number line. There we go. Okay, so I would like you to just complete this number line, 3/5, 4/5. So pause the video and do that, please. Okay, so we should have found here that our 3/5 can be converted to 0.6. And our 4/5 can be converted to 0.8. Let's just put that in there. You should have found here that 1 and 3/5 can be converted to 1.6. And that 1 and 4/5 can be converted to 1.8. I won't write those in because it seems to take me quite a long time to do that here, but it should be here 1.6 and 1.8. Okay, we've got some more guided practice now. For these ones, I would like you to use all that information we've looked at today to complete these yourself. Remember that we're looking at converting from our fraction into tens or hundredths even. Okay? So if you would like to begin and pause the video, and then I'll show you the answers after. Okay. So 2A, who is correct? They are converting this green bag to decimals. Orange top says 1.3 kilograms. Pink top says 1.4 kilograms. Blue top says 1.25 kilograms. And yellow top says 1.75 kilograms. The answer is 1.75 kilograms. 1.3, 1 3/4. No, that 3/4 is 75 kilograms. Sorry, 0.75 kilograms. Okay, here we're looking at the conversions, right? Each number is a decimal. A quarter is 0.25. A half is 0.5, and 3/4 is 0.75. And we've got this here again. Which number is greater, 1/5 or 0.5? 0.5 is greater. 1.5 as a decimal is 0.2. 31 hundredths or 3.1. Well, 31 hundredths doesn't have a hole. 3.1 has 3 holes, so that's greater. 9/10ths or 0.91. 0.91 is greater. 11/25ths or 0.4. 11/25ths is greater. If we convert this to a decimal, we find that it is 0.44. So your work today is to complete worksheet 7, page 13 to 14. Also, there is an ED quiz I would like you to complete. So please log on to your ED accounts and do that. Remember to give me a full answer as to why you have answered the way you have in your ED quizzes. Thank you very much, Year 5, and have a wonderful day.